Welcome to the CA Tribes Unite Walking Shoulder to Shoulder Christmas Special. I'd now like to introduce Ollie D, who will be talking on the creation of Walking Shoulder to Shoulder for 10 minutes. Over to you, Ollie.
Thanks so much, Andrew. My name's Ollie. I'm a recovered addict. Merry Christmas, everyone. Really good to be here. I'm a little bit nervous. I don't know if I've got 10 minutes to speak about the creation of the meeting, but first of all, Christmas can be a little bit of a challenging time. I remember like two Christmases ago, I was like between detoxes. I was withdrawing off opiates, and I was in a really sorry state, and it was an awful Christmas. And I guess there may be some people on this meeting that are struggling, that are having a tough time, maybe quite isolated. But the beautiful thing is that we have this platform today to keep you grounded and in with some connection and love. And I just want to reassure you that things will get better. That's certainly been my experience. And yeah, so the creation of Walking Shoulder to Shoulder, I was, thank you for all the other meetings that are part of this beautiful thing today, and all the other meetings that are on Zoom. You guys all inspired me. You all showed me you showed me what meetings can be all about, and I absolutely love the Zoom platform. I think it's amazing. Young always says, like, if I was choosing a football team, I wouldn't just choose the people from my local area, and that's what Zoom's allowed us to do. To hear speakers all over the world. Like from day one of my recovery, I've really enjoyed the Zoom platform. So thank you for showing me the way and shining the light on the path. And the reason why I thought of setting something up around step 12 was that I heard a lot in the rooms and from other people in the fellowship, like this kind of hesitance, this fear around sponsorship, and that wasn't really my experience. I was really excited to kind of sponsor, and had always been encouraged from very early on that I needed to be helping other people. But it kind of disturbed me a little bit, actually, that people weren't willing to help others. And I'll freely admit that I was a bit critical and a bit judgmental of those people. But it came to me in kind of prayer and meditation that rather than being like that, being really judgmental about those people, can I create something that's going to help, that's maybe going to allay those fears. And I'd been thinking about setting something up for a little while, and it just came to me one morning as we get these moments of inspiration, of intuitive thought of how we can be useful, and it came to me one morning just really suddenly. And I was like, well, the first thing I need is a name, and I flicked through the book, and Walking Shoulder to Shoulder just really kind of just stood out to me. So the name came really quickly, and within kind of an hour or two, really, I'd kind of put a poster together, and started on kind of looking at what the kind of format was. And again, that was all through you guys that showed me. If anyone's been on the meeting, you'll probably notice like a lot of kind of stuff that I've taken from lots of different meetings. But of course I couldn't do it on my own. I needed the help and guidance of some fellows. The best bit of advice that I got from my sponsor was just do it, just get on with it, because I had loads of self-centered fear. I thought no one would show up, etc. And then MJ, I had a chat with MJ, and she's everywhere on Zoom. I mean, you can't go in a WhatsApp group without MJ being there, and she's really well connected. So I thought, well, she's a good person to kind of tap into. So I did, and we had this conversation, and she had this amazing idea of setting up a WhatsApp group. She helped me in many different ways. She helped me with the poster because I didn't know what I was doing. It was my first time doing anything like that. I'm not particularly good on computers or WhatsApp or anything like that. So she really, really helped me. But yeah, she came up with this idea of a WhatsApp group, and I didn't really want another flyer group because there's tons of them out there. But she had the idea of like having this space where people can kind of go on there and get connected with sponsorship, and so we set that up, and there was lots of kind of little missteps along the way, and things that needed to be kind of ironed out, shall we speak, and like I'm so blessed to have a service team that have from day one have just been showing up and really, really committed. I mean, that's such a big kind of weight off my shoulders, really, that these people are just so committed. It's a beautiful thing. And so we had our first meeting, and this WhatsApp group just blew up. Like, I think from the first meeting we had like over 100 people on it, which was overwhelming. I was like, oh, so I had to start putting some kind of some rules in place. And again, I've made lots of mistakes with the WhatsApp group. But over the we've only been running since September, but over those few months, we've got like over 300 members on that group, and I often get messages from people like just saying how incredible it is that there's somewhere where people can get connected, and that really makes my heart sing. It's such a beautiful thing, and we've had some amazing speakers like Young, Andrew, Donna J, Tim M, many more people, some really amazing speakers, and it's really interesting how people's take on Step 12. I mean, we had Tim M speak most recently, and he really went into the spiritual awakening, because Step 12 is so broad. There's so much to kind of draw from, and it's just been a beautiful experience. And I'm telling you this because if you're inspired to start a meeting, but you feel like a bit nervous and a bit hesitant and really not sure where to go, it's so simple, so simple. You just need a couple of people, a flyer, a format of some sort, and then you don't even need to be affiliated with CA to begin with. Our first couple of meetings we weren't. But now we are aligned with the online recovery area, and yeah, I just want to thank you all, because without you, none of this is possible. And a massive thank you to Young and to Isaac and MJ and Tim and the rest of the Unshakable Foundation team for putting this on, and again a massive thank you to the service team for walking shoulder to shoulder, because without you, it's the meeting's nothing. But I think that's all I've got to say. Thanks so much.
Ollie, thank you so much. Thank you for your service and for the work that you put in creating this beautiful space to discuss our 12-step. And thank you for allowing me to be part of the service team. It is now with much warmth and love that I introduce Anne W., who will be speaking for 40 minutes on the subject, I'm Dreaming of a Clean Christmas, and on our 12th step, which reads, having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. This will be followed by a Q&A, or to share back to Anne. And so with much gratitude, Anne, it's over to you.
Thank you so much. Merry Christmas, everyone. Oh, my voice almost went then. Oh, Merry Christmas, everyone. How beautiful that here we are on a meeting on Christmas Day. How amazing is that? It's honestly, it's great to be of service. Actually, I had to, when I was first asked, I had to check with my family. And the funniest thing is the girls are like, Mum, we'll be in bed. Well, I got up and they was up before me. So Christmas miracles all around, people. Christmas miracles all around, everywhere. You know, I'm dreaming of a clean Christmas. I never thought that that would even be something that I'd dream of or hope for. I used to sing that I'm dreaming of a white Christmas and be chuckling away to myself, because when I meant white, I meant Colombian, you know, and I'd be sitting there and I'd be like, you know, Christmases weren't what they were now today. I'm very grateful, very, very grateful that this is my 11th Christmas clean and sober. And it blows my mind. I can't believe it some days. And it feels like it's just right. It's just how it's meant to be. You know, Christmas is once upon a time. I'd probably either still be awake. The house would be trashed. There'd have been a fight Christmas Eve, if not Christmas morning or at some point during Christmas Day. And when I talk about fights, I ain't talking just a few cross words. I'm talking about actual physical fights. I'm talking about things getting smashed. I'm talking about kids having their Christmas money stolen because I need to go get some more. That's the type of Christmases we used to have. And I used to dress it up as if it was fun. I used to dress it up like it was something that was normal. And it was far from that. And when I came into the rooms of Cocaine Anonymous and someone suggested that I might be insane, I was offended. What do you mean, insanity? How very dare you? But that's exactly what it was, right? It was insane. I get to wake up this morning and, yes, shocked that the girls were awake before me because they're teenagers. That always blows my mind. But I get to wake up this morning and I get to be part of, and the girls appreciate me and I can appreciate them. One thing I've always tried to do is make Christmas magical for my family. I've always enjoyed Christmas. It's always been a big time of year, even though it used to be crazy once before. But Christmas has always been very magical in my family, even in my childhood. And, you know, one of my girls, her partner, he's a little bit of a Scrooge, love him. And he was having a moan about Christmas and about how it's all like, you know, consumerized and it costs all this money and this, that and the other. My daughter turned around and said, I'll give over. She's like, it's about being together. And I thought, you know what? I've done something right there. Of all the guilt and shame I can feel as a mother for the things that I've done in my past, I did something right there. Thank God for that. Thank God that my girls can see that their mum, they know that their mum is going to be sober today. They don't have to worry about whether I'm going to lose my temper and start throwing things around the place and, like, you know, screaming and shouting and hooting and hollering because I'm on a come down or because I ain't got enough or maybe I'm just too drunk. You know, I got to FaceTime this morning. My granddaughter, it's her first Christmas. And I got to FaceTime. And when we FaceTimed, you know, my other two girls come in the bedroom so that we can all sit there together and watch this baby try and eat wrapping paper as opposed to opening it up. You know, and sitting there and ignoring all her presents because she got her a Tiana Joel and all she wants to do is eat his hair. You know, and it's beautiful that I'm here and I'm part of. I'm not hanging. I'm not going, oh, it's Christmas, let me open up the alcohol already. I'm organised as best as I can be. But most importantly, I'm here. Not just physically. I'm here in every sense of the word for my family, for my girls. I never knew when people said about a life beyond your wildest dreams, I never really quite understood that. I got excited first time I heard it and thought I was going to be a billionaire before the year was out. You know what I mean? Like, like only fools and horses. This time next year, Rodney, we'll be millionaires. It's never quite happened. Never quite. Not yet, anyway. Still hope. My wildest dreams was very shallow. And today I live a life far beyond that. I'm happy and I'm content. I get to face life and most importantly, I get to be here. Present. Never once did I think I'd ever dream of a white Christmas. And I remember my very first Christmas. And for those of you who are having your very first sober Christmas, it's going to be all right. Hang on in there. Yeah. I remember my first one and I was quite nervous. I'd only been clean a few months, maybe 6. And life was still quite chaotic. Life was still quite mental, you know. I was only 6 months clean, so a lot of my old lifestyle was still very much around me, and old behaviours that I was unlearning and trying to relearn how to behave, and this, that and the other. And there was an actual argument Christmas Eve, you know. There was a full-blown row that night as well. It's like, you know, traditional almost. Luckily I've broken that tradition now. And I remember, like, you know, that fear and anxiety, but those who had come before me were like, you'll get through this. Stay connected. You know, reach out. There were those that turned around and said, my phone is on. Call me. Get that unity going. And back then there weren't really online meetings, but, like, you know, there was a few face-to-face meetings. And I remember my old home group, which was Paravel, on a Friday night. Every Christmas, what they would do is they would have a meet-up. Even if it wasn't on a Friday evening, they'd ask the church if they could still use that room, and they would still have people come over Christmas Day for those who were on their own and this, that and the other. So 9 times out of 10, even though I never needed to make that call, knowing that I could was enough. Knowing that I had support, and knowing that there were people who would come before me, who had been where I had been and had lived to tell the tale, was important. I needed that. When we talk about 12-stepping, it's far more than just sponsorship. It goes beyond. You're 12-stepping when you're leading by example. There are people who have no idea what Cocaine Anonymous is. There are people who have no idea what we do and that we're clean and sober. They've got no idea and they don't need to. But I lead by example in the way I carry myself, in the way I conduct myself. It's all well and good me sitting in a meeting and talking all the talk and acting like I'm some spiritual guru, but then leaving here, or, well, I'm in my living room, so I ain't going nowhere. But you know what I mean? But leaving a meeting and then going and kick the dog. I have to make sure that when I'm out and about, I conduct myself in a way that is appropriate. I have to make sure that my family sees. I don't sit there and bang on about recovery. I mean, I did in the beginning. I'd done everyone's head in the beginning. I was so excited about recovery. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. There's a teacher in schools. You know what I mean? I was that one who carried around a big book under her arm wherever she went, because you never know when I might need it. They see what recovery does. They feel it. It's their lived experience of me now. And in the beginning, they didn't quite trust it because they'd had so many promises that, and here's the thing, I meant them every single time. Every single time I said, I'm not doing this again, I meant it. With every fibre of my being. What I didn't know is that I couldn't stick to it. I had no idea I was ill. I had no idea I had an illness. I certainly didn't know I had this illness. So powerful was the delusion of this illness that it will lie to me inside of my own head, using my own voice, and tell me that it doesn't exist. And I believe it every single time. Those people that came before me were 12-stepping me just by being in the meeting. Those people that came before me were 12-stepping me by sharing their experiences, not only of how they used to be so that I could identify with them, but what they did and what their life is like today. I saw a happiness and joy in them that I aspired to have for myself. I saw a peace that I didn't even recognize because I'd never felt it before in my life. They were able to teach me and guide me, sometimes without even actually realizing they were doing it, just because they were working their program. 12-stepping goes way beyond sponsorship. 12-stepping goes when I go into my corner shop and I pay for stuff. And when I go out the supermarket and I ain't nicked nothing. 12-stepping is me being present for my family. My family have even 12-stepped other people because of what they've seen happening in this room. What their lived experience of my recovery has been, because they were dragged through my illness. They were all hostages on a runaway train that they could not get off. And today, we're on a world cruise, baby. Not all the time, Sometimes there's rough seas. But it ain't that runaway train. It ain't as scary as it used to be. And my girls have 12 steps. Other people should go to meetings like my mum. My mum will give you a lift. They'll turn around and say, like, like my friend's mum's a little bit like you. Even friends of mine have reached out to me. A friend of a friend of a friend. And these are people not in recovery because they see how I conduct myself today. They see the change in me. I haven't become a totally different person where I'm no longer myself. I'm still me. But I'm the best version of me I get to be. And the more people who see that, the more they realize that change is possible. I can inspire those even who haven't got addiction issues because they can see what I have overcome. They can see how I speak. They can feel my passion and my desire to do better, to be better. Not the best, not perfect, just better. And that's what I get to be today. I get to be the best version of me I've ever met. I get to be wrong. I get to fail. I get to learn. I get to grow. And that's because of people who came before me. I thought I was going to come in these rooms, right? I was going to come in a room, I was going to do a 12-week course, I was going to get a certificate and I was going to pop off out the door. That was my plan. That's what I thought happened in it, right? 12 steps, 12 weeks, maybe that's what it was. And even then, I didn't think I'd be able to complete the whole 12 weeks, right? But I'm thinking this is what we do. And when I realised that that's not what we do in these rooms, right, I was devastated. Like, I was like, I've got to come back. Well, every week. Hold on, you want me to do this more than once a week? I don't know if I've got the time. Why? Why am I not cured after one meeting? You know what I mean? I'm like, hello? So I was like, and I didn't really want to come back. And the truth is, my plan in my head was, and I realised that I was lying to myself, but I needed to believe that lie. My plan was I was going to do a year and then fuck off. That was my plan. If I couldn't go after 12 weeks, I'll stick around for 12 months and then I'll go. I'll have my certificate by then, I'm sure. Luckily, I didn't stick to that plan. Luckily. But, and that's what I thought. But thank God we don't do that. You see, because I needed you. I needed you before I even knew you. I still need you. Whether I've known you a million years or whether this is our very first time laying eyes on each other, I need you. I will always need you. You right-size me. You give me purpose. You teach me. You guide me. Because of you, I'm clean and sober. Because of you, I got to wake up this morning in my house and there's no bloodshed and there's no carnage and I'm not hanging and my children feel safe in my presence because of you. Because you came and you stayed. Because you stuck around. Had you come in, done your 12-week course, got your certificate and bobbed off out the door, there'd be no one here when I needed you. Had they have come in, done a 12-week course, got their certificate and bobbed off out the door, there'd have been no one here when you needed them. It is our duty. It is our duty to make sure that we stick around for those that have yet to come. It is our duty to stay here, even for those that have come before us, to remind them of where they used to be. We are duty bound. I am duty bound by the conscience I have, my God conscience that has been given to me by you. Because I didn't have one when I first come in, believe me, you. Morals were for other people. They weren't for me. A conscience was something I drank away. I sniffed away. I swallowed away. A conscience was something I buried deep because I couldn't bear to face it. And now not only do I have a conscience, I have a God conscience. What do you mean? It's unheard of. And you gave that to me. You guided me. You are the reason I get to be the best version of me today. And that is 12 stepping. By being in this meeting, you are being of service. By making sure that you put your hands up and share back, you are being of service. By making sure that you carry this message everywhere you go is being of service. And that's what 12 step is about, is service. I came into these rooms because I saw a poster in my doctor's surgery, a poster. Someone out there got clean and sober and joined the PI committee. And they took them posters. They didn't just do it for word of mouth. Oh yeah, I'm part of PI. Nah. They took them posters. They didn't put them up on their own fucking bedroom wall. They went into my doctor's surgery and put one up on the wall. They went around other places in my local area and put them up. Hi, my name's so-and-so and I'm a member of Cocaine Anonymous and I'm part of the PI committee. Is it okay if I talk to your manager about Cocaine Anonymous and maybe we could speak about putting a poster up, being of service? That committee was people being of service. Those who designed that poster was being of service. Every time you put a little bit of money in the pot for Tradition of 7, you're being of service, my love, because it is that money that was used to print them posters. How about that? Carrying the message to the still suffering addict. You carried the message to me because you put £1 in a pot. How about that? Every single one of you is important here. Otherwise, I'd just be sitting and talking by myself in the living room and the kids would think, nope, she's finally gone mad. I called that number and the most beautiful thing happened is somebody answered the phone, somebody being of service. 12 step. They answered the phone. Now, I don't know about you, and I'm not here to judge any other services because everyone is trying to do their part. God bless them. But I've called helplines. I've called numbers and not received any fucking help. I remember crying my eyes out one morning talking about like I was on the come down. I was still quite manic as well. You know, that in between bit. I was quite manic and I was like, I don't know why I do this. And bless this man, who clearly had never done drugs in his life, turned around and said to me, why don't you have a sleep? And I said to him, clearly you've never done coke. What do you mean? I can't sleep. And he's like, why don't you have something to eat? He goes, yep, that's it. Have something to eat and then go to sleep. I'm like, oh, love his heart. Love his heart. I didn't have the heart to tell him. I said, thank you very much and put the phone down. Yeah? Love him. This time I called that number on that poster, and somebody answered, and here's the difference. He was one of us, and I didn't know it. He was, in actual fact, the first clean addict I'd ever spoken to in the whole of my life. And within a few moments of speaking to him, he won my confidence without me even realizing. I trusted what he said without even realizing. That man gave me hope without me even realizing. And as I'm crying down the phone and I'm saying, I don't know why I do this, I was bewildered. My mind was blown. I swore to a God I didn't even know I believed in or not, that I was never going to do it again. And I did it again and again and again and again. And I couldn't get my head around it. Even while I'm on the phone to somebody from Cocaine Anonymous, I still don't understand why do I do this. And he said, Anne, we can help. And I believed him. He said, tell me where you live. And with permission, I'll pass your number on to a woman in your local area. And I was like, yes, help me, please, anything, help me. And I used to live in a place in West London called Norfolk. And I was like, Norfolk. Couldn't get the words out of my mouth quick enough. Do you need my door number, my postcode? I've given this motherfucker my bank details. Please help me. And he said, and I'll find out where your local meetings are. Oh, no. I'm not that bad. I'm not an addict of anything. I just want to stop and can't. What do you mean? I was offended. And I started to reel off this list of excuses of why I didn't believe I was an addict. This bullshit I'd been telling myself for years, and it seemed that only I believed it. And he stopped me dead with the simple yet most important thing I'd ever heard in my life, even up until this very moment. And he said words to the effect of, Anne, An addict is not defined by how much or how often they use. An addict is defined by using against your will. Sounds to me, darling, like you're using against your will. What do? The very first time someone had ever said something to me that I could not but my way out of, and that man was being of service by answering that phone. He passed my number on to a woman in my local area, a woman being of service. She picked me, she called me. And she came, and she was a 12-step responder. She came, she picked me up from my house, and she drove me to a meeting where I met more people being of service. Someone had already opened that meeting. I don't know when, but somebody had gone into that building, that community centre, and asked if they could use that room, right? They got a committee together, people being of service. There was someone who put out the chairs. There was someone who made sure there was tea and coffee and a warm welcome. There was someone being secretary. There was someone sharing their story. There were people who shared back. All of these people were being of service. Every single last one of them was being of service. There were people who came up to me afterwards and took my number and gave me theirs. They were being of service. I got brought to my next meeting again where I met more of you beautiful people. And here's the funniest thing. I judged the fuck out of all of you. Because I wasn't like you. Don't you know? Not as bad as. I didn't do what you did, and that ain't happened to me yet. And the delusion and the lies started to clear. Not because I'm clever, but because you told me your truth. I didn't come in these rooms and you told me about me. I'm far too fucking feisty for that. You can't tell me about me. I'll either get defensive, aggressive, or cry, or a combination of all three. Yeah? I'd have probably left and never gone back and saying, how dare they say that about me, even though it would have been the truth. You never told me about me. You told me about you. And I heard about me. Every time one of you opened your mouth and said something about you, I heard about me. I identified with you. You spoke a language that I'd never heard before. You spoke to my soul. The God in you spoke to the God in me and allowed me to hear the voice of that God. You, being of service, guided me to my higher power. Because you came. You showed up. You were the light in my dark. And you continue to be the light in my dark. Even if this is your first meeting, thank you. Because you give me purpose, you give me reason. You are still the light in my dark. And now I have to be the light in somebody else's dark. We have to be. And I know there are no haves and no musts. It's a suggestion. You don't have to be. Let me correct myself. We're all adults. We can make our decisions. But if you weren't the light in my dark, I'd be dead. If you weren't the light in my dark, my children would not have the mother they have today. So my own God conscious tells me that I have to be. I have to be the light in somebody else's dark. I can't pay it back to them that came before me, so I pay it back to them by paying it forward. I have to make sure that I show up. I have to make sure that I'm accountable today. I don't get it right all the time. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I am still the best version of me because of you. Because you came and you stayed. You showed me what honesty was. You showed me not just about recovery. You showed me love and compassion. You showed me an understanding of myself that I couldn't. There were times that someone would say something in the room and I'd be like, oh my God, that's it. That's exactly it. That's how I feel. You gave the voice. You gave a voice to my inner voice that I could not hear. You gave the voice to my inner God because the inner devil was so fucking loud. And you helped me to silence that. because you came and you showed up and you was of service. This is a big old meeting. And there's 61 participants, but I can see Ark House. There's quite a few of you there. So we're over 60, right? There's over 60 people in this meeting right here, right now. And guess what? Not one of us would be here if it was not for somebody else before us being of service. Not one of us. That's why it's so imperative that we are of service. That's why it's so imperative that once you have done your 12 steps, and here's the thing, if you ain't done them yet, I beg you, I plead, do it. Do the work, get through it, and then give it to somebody else so that they in turn can give it to somebody else. It is important. That's how I'm alive. Alcoholics Anonymous started in 1935. Long before my dad was even a twinkle in his dad's eye. Never mind me being a twinkle in his. And yet I am here today because of them. Could you imagine? Bill says to Bob, I'm all right, you're all right. And Bob says to Bill, yeah, I'm all right, you're all right. And they just fucked off and lived the rest of their lives. And not carried this message. Had Ebby not gone to Bill? Had the Oxford groups not existed? If you think about it, fundamentally, love is at the core of everything that we do. Service is at the core of everything that we do. I started doing my service commitments. My first group conscience, I'm getting really hot. My first group conscience, right, I only stayed for because the woman who was giving me a lift home stayed for the group conscience. Facts. I had two choices. I either stayed for the group conscience and got a lift back, or I went home and got a bus. Right? I'm lazy. I stayed for the group conscience. I did not want a commitment. I didn't want to be of service. Please and thank you. And they said, does anyone want to be greeter? And this happened. My hand shut up. And I was like, oh, get it down. But it's too late. They'd seen it. And had a conversation, made me wait outside. And as I walked in, they said, well done. And I was like, bollocks. But you know what? It gave me reason to be at that meeting. And at first, I was being of service because I had to be. I was being of service because I didn't want people to let down. Self-centered fear was spoken about by Ollie earlier, right? My self-centered fear is if I don't show up and greet the shit out of everyone, they're all going to talk about me. Everyone in Cocaine Anonymous is going to know that I'm the world's worst greeter, when in my head I'm going to be the best. You know what I mean? It gave me, but now I'm of service because I want to be. I'm of service because I fucking love it. Most times, don't get me wrong, there's a few days when I've got to show up at my home group, especially on a Monday morning. Roy will tell you, Monday morning, I'm host on a meeting called Daily Meds, and I've got to be there for 7:45. And I tell you, the amount of mornings I'm sitting there and my alarm goes off and I'm like, I'm going to hand in that commitment. I really don't want to do it. I'm handing in that commitment. Knowing full well that before we've even got to the preamble, I'm going to be full of life. Because you give me life. Because you came and you stayed. You showed up even when you didn't want to. You showed up when that voice inside of your head, your illness, that will lie to you inside of your head using your own voice, said, don't go. Don't show up. It's Christmas morning. You've got things to be doing. And you don't listen to that voice, and you listen to the God conscience that says, no, you need to be there. Now, whether you were carrying the message or listening to the message, you needed to be here this morning, and I thank you. Because you give me another day clean and sober. You give my children the mum that they always deserved. And that's through being of service. My good friend Audrey always says, each one teach one. And that's how we do it. Sponsorship can be scary. I got from my 12 steps, and I remember my sponsor, she was like, yes, you can sponsor now. And I'm like, no, I can't. I'm going to kill somebody. I can't. And we used to like sponsorships announcement at the meeting. Anyone who's available to sponsor, please raise your hand. I barely got a finger higher than my shoulder and someone saw it. Oh, you bastards. You know, can you sponsor me? Of course I can. Oh, we're screwed though. I mean, because if you're that bad that you think I can sponsor you, and Jesus, we're both in a lot of trouble. But you know what? As far as I know, I haven't killed anyone yet. Yay me, you know. Every time I open up the book, it's a privilege. Every time I read that book with another fellow, yeah, it comes alive. Different parts and different passages take on different meaning. And every single time it's like, I ain't never read this book before, yet I know I've read this book 1,000,000 times. It's an honor to be a sponsor. Terrifying still, but it's an absolute honor to be of service. It's an honor to be asked to speak. It's an honor to stand outside in the freezing cold and greet people. It's an honor to get to boil that kettle and make cups of tea and get whinged at because you didn't leave the tea bag in long enough. It's an honor to be getting to places you ain't never even heard of by public transport and walking around with this sat-nav going, hold on, am I going this way or that way? Wait. It's an honor. It's a blessing. Because all of it's a learning opportunity. Now, I've spoken a lot about my kids because they are the most important people in my life, my children and my grandchildren. And I have 4 beautiful daughters. And they're beautiful not just by appearance, but by their souls. I'm very, very blessed and honoured to be their mum. And my 2 eldest girls have made me a grandmother. You know, I've got a grandson and a granddaughter, and those human beings are just the light of my life. And because of you, I get to be part of that. Like I said, my girls were dragged through my addiction, so they now get to feel the benefits of my recovery. And that's because of you. When I first came into recovery, I didn't always have the luxury of childminders. I didn't always have the luxury of this, that and the other. And I knew what I'm like. If I miss it, I'm never going to go back. Because that will get to me in here, in my head. That voice will turn around and say, you don't need to. See, you didn't go last week and you didn't die, so you don't need to go again. And I knew that. So I had to go no matter what. And you know, the most beautiful thing is we were not turned away. We were welcomed. I had to bring my kids to meetings. You know, my kids weren't the ones with the headphones and their own little iPads. We didn't have no money like that. And people would be like, oh, there's kids here. I'm like, babe, they've lived a lot worse than hearing you talking about injecting into your nostril. I promise you. They experienced a lot worse. And because of that, I'm here today. That said, if you were in a meeting and you see a child in a room, I beg you mind your business. If you are in a meeting and you see a child in a room, I beg you, mind your business. And I tell you why. Because if there is a child in a room, it means that that child's adult is getting recovery. And that, my darlings, could be the difference between that child being fed, between that child being loved, between that child having to worry about where their adult may or may not be. If you are in a room, I beg you, mind your business. Yeah. And I've had people come up to me. I've had it. Oh, but these ain't ideal places for children, rah, rah, rah. And you are absolutely right, my friend. Absolutely. These ain't ideal places for children, but neither is a crack house. Neither is the back seat of a vehicle being driven by somebody under the influence. And neither was my home. And yet my babies had no choice other than to be there. So if you are in a room and you see a child, I beg you, mind your business. You see, I am the alcoholic addict. I am the one who suffers with this illness, but I am not the only sufferer. Everyone around me suffers because of my addiction. So therefore, everyone around me should benefit from my recovery. Please and thank you. I was a terrible mum before I met you beautiful people. I was a bully. If I couldn't scream and shout and intimidate you into doing my will, I'd guilt trip you into doing my will. And I didn't know that until I met you beautiful people and you told me that you did that. My eldest girl is a 30-year-old woman, a mother of my granddaughter celebrating her first Christmas. And that woman FaceTimed me this morning so I can watch her open her presents. And it was one of the greatest things I've opened this morning. Better than any gift. That woman has a scar on her forehead that I gave to her when she was about 3 years old. That's the type of mother I was before I met you beautiful people. That's the type of person I used to be until you helped me become the real me. And I brought her to a meeting with me once. Not because she's one of us. Not by any stretch of the imagination. She's one of them weirdos that'll open up a bottle of wine, pour a glass, and a week later the rest of that bottle's still there. Like, what do you mean leftover wine? Like, who pours away wine because it's gone off? Like, what? It's absurd to me. Anyway, she's one of them. So I didn't bring her here because I thought she was one of us. I brought her because I wanted her to meet you. I wanted her to feel some of what it is that I feel every single time I'm in a room of Cocaine Anonymous. And it was an open meeting. It was newcomers time and no one was sharing. And she said, is it all right if I say something? And I said, yeah, sure. She said, hi, my name's Bethany and I'm Anne's daughter. And I want to thank you. I want to thank you for being part of my mum's journey. I want to thank you for helping my mum to recover. I want to thank you for giving my sisters the mum that they always deserved. And I want to thank you for giving me back my mum. And with that, I want to thank each and every single one of you for allowing me to be of service, for being part of my Christmas, for being part of my journey. God bless you all. I will leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anne, for your 12-step, for your service and for speaking with such passion today. But you're not quite out of the hot seat yet. We're now going to open up the meeting for a Q&A session, or if you'd like to come and share back with Anne, please limit your questions or shares to 2 minutes. You can also post a question in the chat or anonymously to the service team. We especially welcome questions and shares from our newer members. And first up, we have Ark House. Come on in, Ark House.
Yeah, my name's Carl. I'm an alcoholic. Thank you for hosting, Andrew, and thank you for your share, Anne. I was just thinking there, do I have a question? And my head went blank. But if I haven't got that to ask, it means I'm back to God again. I know everything. So my question would be, once you stepped off that train and you jumped onto the ship, how did you stay on it when the waves got high?
Oh, that's a good question, isn't it?
Happy Christmas.
Oh, fucking hell. I thought I was just going to get share backs. I didn't know I had to study. No, I'm joking. You know what? I remember what it was like on that train. Now, sometimes my illness that still exists inside of me will try and tell me, oh my God, but it was exhilarating. And there were times that it was. But I know the truth today. My step one, the honesty that I need to have in order to be able to continue out my step one, tells me the truth. And it reminds me of that darkness. It reminds me of that suffering, the fear and the anxiety. I never let that go. And I hold on to it not only by having my own memories, but by listening to other people and their experiences. You know, I don't just come to, I can talk, so I don't just come to meetings to talk. You know what I mean? I come to listen. And that's how I stay on that ship. Even when those waves are scary, I know I'm better indoors on that ship than I was ever on that train. I'll never forget. I can never forget. I remember I am an alcoholic addict every day of my life. You know, I hope that answers your question, my darling. So just dig in deep.
Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Thanks for your question, Ark, and thank you so much for your answer, Anne. Ark, it's great to have you with us this morning. Paula, you're up next. Come on in.
Sorry, I flipped my screen instead of unmuting. Hi, I'm Paula, I'm an addict. Thank you very much, Andrew. And I don't think you even realise how much you've helped my recovery. We've only talked maybe 3 times max. But the first time I ever heard you, you'll be glad to know this is a share back and not a question. The first time I ever heard you was September. I was maybe 6-7 months in recovery, and you were sharing at Tipperary. And I remember you talking, and I was literally had a conversation with a couple of my fellows that morning about, all these fears, and we're all, and it was like, the last few years, I haven't been allowed to see my children at Christmas, and Christmas is going to be coming up, and I'm going to do enough by the time it comes that I'm going to get to see them, and all I'm crazy, just that hamster wheel, but not looking for a drink or a drug. It was just like those crazy thoughts still. And I remember you talking about being scared, and you got me right at the start there, because you mentioned fear coming up to Christmas and fear around the Christmas period, because as you were talking about being scared and not giving up in Tipperary, I was thinking of Christmas. So it really got me from the second you spoke or said that, and your words that day were, it's okay to be scared. Just don't give up. Don't you fucking dare give up. Don't you fucking dare give up. And you were so theatrical with it. And I'm like, I need this. So all those times and all those wee thoughts, and it's like, can I do this? Can I stick this out? And you're getting tired of it, and maybe things aren't changing as quickly as we wanted them to. And it was your voice and your accent, or, your accent, your hands. It was that I kept saying, it's okay to be scared. Just don't you fucking dare give up. And because of that, Anne, I'm now having my 3rd sober Christmas with my children. I'm waiting on them coming at 12 o'clock. They go, they stayed with me last Christmas Eve, so they're with their dad this year. And things are fucking good. I'm so grateful. So grateful. You don't realise how much of a light you had in my dark period. So I want to thank you for it. And happy Christmas.
Oh, lovely. Thank you, Paula. What a lovely share. Audrey, come on in.
Hi, thanks for everyone making this meeting possible. Oh, Anne, my sister, we go back over a decade. It's mad. And you had the girls and I had the boys. And I've watched your journey. Mine was not like yours. It doesn't matter. Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. You're always there. Me and you laugh like 2 old hen. Do you know what I mean? And you accept me for how I come, whether I'm on that intercity train with no brakes on Prozac, or I'm just me and we're just having a normal day. And I'm like a bag of like mixed sweets. You don't know what you're going to get when you pick up that phone. Like, I love you. I love your journey. I feel like I'm the writer and you're the speaker, because God knows I can't get up and speak. Do you know what I mean? And it's just, you're a powerhouse. I don't even think you see what we see. Like the love of your kids, the growth of your family, the growth of you. And you know what? You got there because you put the work in. I could not get out of my own way. That doesn't have to be anyone else's journey. I beg you don't. Get out of your own way. It's a beautiful thing to be here with you guys on Christmas Day 2025. I'll leave it there. Love you loads. Love your journey. Big hugs. Oh, just one thing quickly. They say you can't give someone what you haven't got. The biggest gift I got this year was, that saying, if you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. I got the gift of someone asking me, what do you do in these rooms? Where can you go? I was able to show someone that room, and you've held her hand ever since. And it makes me so emotional. Thank you for being there. Thank you for keep giving. Love you. Have a blessed day all. Happy Christmas.
Oh, thank you, Audrey. Great to have you with us this morning. Just before I go to Mary, I'm going to go back to Ark House. I think there's someone else wanted to ask a question.
No, we're all good at Ark House. If we want to jump back in.
Okay, no worries. Okay, Mary, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Mary and I'm an addict. And thank you, Andrew, and thank you, Anne. This is what I needed this morning. I'm 30-day clean today. And this is the first Christmas I'm spending sober, but without my daughter. So I gave her 3 white Christmases, and this year I'm giving her a FaceTime sober Christmas. It's very hard. I am 600 miles away from home, but just waking up this morning and hearing all you guys has just made my day, and I'll leave it there. Thank you, guys.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mary. Gina, you're up next. Come on in.
Hi everyone, I just want to say thank you for your service and for holding this meeting. And wow, I've never heard you share before. It really touched me and lit something inside of me. Your passion is just infectious. I'm 24 days clean today. It's my 24th meeting. I'm doing 90 days, and it's absolutely saved my life. I know nothing, which is hard for me to admit because I've always run my mouth thinking I know best about everything. But so grateful to be a part of CA. It's saving my life. I'm working hard. And I'm just grateful to be here. So thank you to you all.
Thank you, Gina. We're grateful you're here too. Heather, come on in.
Hiya, I'm Heather. I am a recovered addict just for today. I definitely am. And thank you for everyone doing service in the meeting. The marathon meeting is going to be a real player in the today. I think I'm going to be joining in and out all day. But yeah, Anne, hi. I think I've said this to you multiple times, but I'm going to say it again. When I heard you share, I don't even know how long ago it was now. It was this year at some point. And I was having a wobbly evening, and I wanted to get out to a meeting that evening. I couldn't because I didn't think I could take my daughter. And then you shared what you shared. If you see a child in a meeting, mind your business. The parents there getting recoveries, you know what I mean? It's safer than the alternative kind of thing. And the very next day, the next morning, in fact, I went to a morning meeting. So you lit that fire in me that day, and absolutely, I think propelled my, I don't even know what you call it, but like took away some of that fear of being judged, I think, because I'm just trying to be here. You know what I mean? And I am here today. It's Christmas Day. I've slept, which is, you know what I mean? This wasn't the story last year. You know what I mean? I'm cooking, and I feel great. And and you played a big part in my recovery, even though I probably never had a conversation with you. You light a fire in people. It's definitely in me. Also, I'm a CA responder now. So I just wanted to get that out there. Because don't be afraid of being of service in any way, shape, or form, kind of thing. And it's a real blessing. So thank you so much for your share.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you for the service that you do. Amanda, come on in with your share or your question.
I haven't really got a question. I'm just very grateful to be here. It's a beautiful morning. I'm going to cry because last Christmas, that lady was sharing at the beginning, our kids' Christmases. I've ruined so many of my kids' Christmases, and we're all here today. They can hear me sharing. We've all opened presents. Last Christmas, I was stuck in a room on my own. My daughter showed me her socks. With a crack pipe, with a bottle of alcohol, crying about being on my own, thinking my life was over, finished at 50. And today, I've walked someone's dog at 7:30 this morning. It's freezing, but it was beautiful. My kids have got up. I've spoken to my parents for the first Christmas in 4 years. I've spoken to them the last couple of months, but my dad was just crying this morning. I was so grateful that I was able to bring it so much. You know what I mean? After the way I treated them, it was just beautiful. And I think, just these rooms do save people's lives, and being of service in whichever way, like she said, putting up posters. My daughter's come with me to put up posters that lead people to me. I'm so emotional. I'm so sorry, but I'm just so grateful. And I don't know what to say yet. I just hope everyone has a brilliant day. And if anyone wants to reach out, my number will be in the chat, because you can recover. I'm recovered from not being able to put down a crack pipe. It was glued to my lips 24/7. I was injecting heroin. I've been drinking alcohol since the age of 13. I've been off alcohol for 8 months, but I've been off crack cocaine for 8 months. I've been off alcohol only 120 days, but my life is so different and so full. So yes, get a sponsor, get a big book, and be of service to people, because getting out of yourself and being useful gives you back purpose, and it just makes you feel better about yourself after all those years of feeling guilt and shame. I think someone else shared in another meeting this when they finally love themselves, like I finally like myself. And it's because of you people, it's because of coming to meetings, and it's because of CA. So I hope everyone has a brilliant, lovely day, and thank you for everyone's service. I'm going off to cook my dinner for my family. Goodbye.
Thanks, Amanda. I hope you have a wonderful day. Gav, come on in.
Sorry about that, a bit of a delay. Yeah, thank you everybody for being on here today. Thank you everybody who's done service. Merry Christmas to everyone. I don't have a question, and I just really wanted to say thank you for your service. I was absolutely, I was moved at times during that, genuinely was. Yeah, I loved what you spoke about that whole chain, if you like, of events. You know, that there is somebody out there. Your journey to the rooms and through the rooms, you know, there was somebody out there being of service, putting that poster up. You know, people putting the money in the pot that allowed that poster, somebody wandering around, no doubt, in the, you know, cold and wet, to put those posters up, having the conversations that led you to these rooms, to this fellowship, and the message that you carry now. It was beautiful. I'm so grateful for having the opportunity to work this program, and I've been given that because somebody else has taken me through. They've been of service. They've given me their time freely, and I now have to be there for others. I love what you spoke about, you know, it is my duty, the way you spoke about it. You know, it's a privilege to work with others, to be of service, and I'm indebted. I am indebted, you know, if I do not, or if I am not available to others, I'm that same thief that I was when I was using. You know, I love what you said about, I love what you said, very much tongue-in-cheek, but I love what you said about, you know, the founders of AA. You know, they both look at each other and say, we're good, thanks very much, see you later. None of us are beside you. That will stick with me for a long time. Yeah, have a beautiful Christmas, everyone, whatever you may be doing. And yeah, be there, be present for those who need you. Thank you, Anne.
Thank you, Gav. Thank you for your service on this meeting as well, mate. Zen, what a wonderful name. Come on in.
Thank you for the meeting, everybody here. My name's Zen, and I'm an addict alcoholic. Thank you, Anne, for your share. Anne's my sponsor, and she's taking me through the steps, and just hearing her live makes me know that I'm in the right place. You know, when I call Anne, she shifts paradigms for me, like she just did with her share. You know, I could be feeling a certain way, I'd be wanting to use, and like, I'm recently back from a relapse, you know, and I'm 22 days clean, and you know, I was once an old timer that didn't do the work, you know, 17 years, and I relapsed in September because I wasn't putting in footwork, I wasn't making the teas, I wasn't going to the meetings, I was just happy being clean. But without this program, life was impossible. The obsession in my head was impossible, you know, and it made it worse diving back into that life, you know, and starting using again. And there's another guy on this meeting that introduced me to Anne, and I said, I need my sponsor to be spiritual. I need my sponsor to just know, you know. And he said, you can't get what you want. And I said, well, I am. And I prayed, and I did. And I met Anne at the right time, because now I'm doing my steps. I've got this freedom in my head of how to actually deal with life on life's terms. You know, that book there teaches an alcoholic and an addict how to actually live everyday life. You know, getting up and going to this meeting. There's a special meeting that I go to, Daily Meds. And if I don't get to that meeting, I feel like a naughty school kid that's late. I feel like my day ain't going to be set up right, you know. And, you know, you meet these beautiful people, you see these beautiful faces, and like, we've all been crackheads, we've all been alcoholics, but you can change with this program, you know. So I'm just so grateful that everybody's here in this meeting, and that these meetings are always here. You can always come back. So old timers, don't get complacent, and newcomers, keep coming back till the penny drops, because it will, and then you'll stick and stay like me. So thank you for this meeting, and thank you for Bill and Bob doing these steps, you know, because I'm doing my step 1 for the first time ever after 18 years. We used to write letters to each other to keep these meetings going. Writing letters. Look at the post strikes. You know, imagine that. And now we've got these rooms, you know, 24 hours a day they're on Zoom. There's a meeting in the town anyway. And if you're new, you know, like Anne said, you know, get the guide out, and it shows you where the meetings are, and it's like a journey. Like, where's this meeting? Who's in this meeting? Let's get there and hear this share. Let's hear about life of addicts. It's not church. You know what I mean? This is real life happening for people, and this saves lives. This saves my soul. You know, when Satan was hanging on to it and wanting to draw me back to the depths of hell, man. You know, this saved me. And I'm so grateful to NA, AA, CA, Bill and Bob. I'm grateful. So thank you, everybody that's in this meeting. And thank you for all being here today. Have a great holiday.
Thank you, Zen. So glad you made it back. Have a great holiday too. Nick, you're up next.
Yeah, morning guys. My name's Nick. I am an addict. Yeah, thank you for the meeting. And I've heard you before, Cher. I'm sorry I actually missed this one because of Christmas stuff downstairs and everything else with the family. But yeah, everything I remember from before for sure. You know, you have a certain way about you, and you know that's something which I don't think many people can have with that passion has already been shared, you know, and you know, it brings people back to meetings and convinces others who maybe are new that there is a way possible forward to recover from this motherfucker of an illness that tells me I'm not ill. And I'm 45 days today. I'm back from a very long up and down journey of in and out over the last 10 years. Never lost enough potentially, hence why I was able, or my mind was able to convince me that I was well. Yeah, I'm now, you know, step 9, I'm making amends. I've gone through the program quickly this time and got to the furthest point. I've never completed it, which is another thing of mine of starting lots of new shiny things, whether it's books or training courses or recovery, and never actually getting to the end and seeing the real benefits. And, you know, this time around, I'm very glad because I've lost everything at the moment. You know, my wife is separating from me. I am back at the house for a couple of weeks over Christmas for our daughter as well, and you know, to help out with things. And we're here today, which is nice. But yeah, I'm glad I've got a program to work because there's challenge. Things are still challenging, and I have to remember to live in my step 6 and 7. Because that's where, you know, the change starts at 4 when you get it all down. You know, 5 is relief, but 6 and 7 is where I need to be, and to see what a fucking prick I have been, and how to live in the opposite of that. And you know, I pray on that every day, and that has enabled me to have a sober Christmas, to be present with my daughter, and to not be resentful of, things that are said to me which perhaps aren't that kind or in a kind way. To see a friend of mine yesterday who's basically at stage 4 cancer, and he's dying. We've got 2 small children, and to go and make a graveside amends to my mum yesterday, who passed away 7 years ago on Christmas Eve. It's a bit weird talking to a bit of dirt, but hey, that's okay. But yeah, I'm just doing all these things that are changing me, and changing me in a good way and a positive way. And I am a different person to what I was even just 2 months ago. And this thing does work if you work it properly. So I'll leave it there. Thanks for the time. Thanks for the service. Thanks for everyone being here, and Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Nick. Vera, can you give us a quick minute, please?
Sure. Hi, everybody. Very grateful alcoholic. I just want to come and say hi and thank you very much. I got sober 2023 or 2020, right when Daily Men started, and you were an inspiration then, and you're an inspiration now. And I am 6 years ago, my daughter wouldn't even let me hold my granddaughter. Now I am in Japan spending 2 months with them. So that is the gift of desperation and staying sober one day at a time. And it's so nice seeing you and several people here. Have a wonderful Christmas, everybody.
Thank you, Vera. You have a wonderful Christmas too. Hang on, I've got to find my script. Thank you again so much, Anne, for your service. It's been a pleasure having you with us. It really has. A real inspiration. Thank you to everyone that's attended, those that asked a question, shared back, did a reading for us, and for the service team for making this meeting possible.